Hey everyone, welcome to Making Sense. If you've been here before, thank you so much for stopping by again. I really appreciate it. And if this is your first time checking out my channel, welcome aboard. If you could do me a huge favor, click the subscribe button down below. Like, comment, and or share this video. That'd be greatly appreciated. We have come to week 2 of Off the Shelf. So if you want to see what the heck I'm taking off the shelf today, stay tuned. If you haven't checked out the first video, give a quick brief description of what we're doing here. And basically this big rack of fragrances behind me, I'm going to take one shelf each week, pull down the contents and go over what's in there and share it with you, whether it's the fragrance journey behind how they got to my collection or a quick synopsis of what the fragrance seems like and or means to me. Today's shelf is none other than the line of John Varvatos. The first one's this one right here, Dark Rebel. Now, if you had a chance to try out any of the John Varvatos fragrances, they're pretty fairly priced. Most of them are somewhat mass appealing, or if you want to look for a certain or specific smell or scent profile, there's a lot of good information on the web because the fragrances are readily available. Some people love the house, some people dislike the house, but overall it's a pretty safe house to purchase from because the ticket price, if you get it at one of the gray market stores or one of the box stores, kind of like Marshall's, TJ Maxx, any of those guys, you might get a real good price on it, and you might even find like box sets that are together that are even better priced, especially after the holiday season. So this one here is the first one I ever owned in my collection from John Varvatos. It's Dark Rebel. I did spray it on a little piece of paper earlier when I sniff, just to remind myself what the smell was, and I didn't want to spray all these together and mix them up so I'd get a little bit confused possibly. This one here is a really rich, boozy fragrance. I think people always talk about a really masculine scent or leathery, boozy. It's just a really rich fragrance. To me, I really do get the boozy part of it the most. And it's funny, I believe I bought this one based off of watching YouTube reviews. People would say, oh yeah, this is a great fragrance, really strong, lasts long, mass appealing. And I've probably worn this fragrance twice. With all the different fragrances in my collection, it's kind of hard to pick certain ones to choose more than once or twice, or the right occasion, and there's a lot that are in the same wheelhouse. This one to me is kind of like every other one of the John Varvatos fragrances, where it's got a really cool scent to it. It is dark, it is rich, it is definitely boozy, and if you're a person that likes boozy or even some leather scents or something like that, a really rich one though, this one here could be a great one to try out. It's low price. You can pick it up pretty good price on retailers or like fragrance.net or fragrancenet.com. Let's get that correct. Fragrance X, things like that. And overall, the big thing with John Varvatos fragrances, for me anyways, the only thing they really lack in is major performance. Now, what I mean by that is more the longevity. They don't have a lot of lasting power. Like this one here, when I sprayed, projection was a beast for about 30 minutes. It was definitely strong. I could smell it for about a half hour. Not much more past that. It's a really nice fragrance, and I bet if I sprayed like 4, 5, or 6 sprays, got on some clothing, things like that, it would definitely last a bit longer. But that's the only thing with the fragrance line that I have seen through all of them that I'm going to go over today. There's 4 of them in this video today. The staying power just isn't really there for me. Now, some of you might have amazing performance with it, and the way that these fragrances work through your DNA could knock it out of the park. Again, this guy here only got to my collection because I heard a review online and decided to go buy it. So that's John Varvatos Dark Rebel. The second addition to my collection was one that was super hyped up, super popular, and it's definitely a summer fragrance. It is another one from the house of John Varvatos, and you probably know where I'm going. Is this guy right here, Artesian Pure. Now, if you haven't had a chance to get your nose on this one, this is my second bottle. So I decanted and or shipped out a bunch of the other different ones from the first bottle. This is the second bottle for me. This is a super clean, fresh, definitely a summery frag. I sprayed it on paper here. It really is a nice fragrance. Definitely for like the summer, the spring. You could try to play it off in the fall a bit if you had like a few warmer days. I don't see this being a winter fragrance. Again, the same thing. Half hour to an hour, you can smell it off of a little bit of a projection, but after that, it's more of a skin or up close scent. With this one here, I have sprayed something like 6 sprays before, and it did last a bit longer. It was on my clothing, things like that. And I did get a compliment at maybe 2.5 hours into wearing this fragrance, so somebody could smell it. I definitely couldn't at that point, but that's nothing too crazy. This one here, it's not like a soapy fresh, but a really clean, powdery fresh, if that makes sense. It's a little bit different than the soapy fresh. It's not like really just super fresh, but it's like a powdery mixture to it, a little tiny bit of spice. I don't know what that is. Maybe a little bit of pepper, something in there. I don't know. That's what I pick up when I smell it. But this one here, again, made it to my collection, kind of like the last one. There was a ton of reviews online, and again, I wasn't a big fan of the House of John Barbados. Am I a fan now? I would say I am becoming a bigger fan. And the more fragrances I get a chance to get my nose on, the more of a fan I have become. So this one here, Artesian Pure, if you haven't had a chance to get your nose on it, awesome summer frag. The last one I just talked about was a great winter fall frag. You know, it's completely up to you where you want to wear them, but if you're just taking a quick opinion of mine, I would say that one there is a good fall winter, and this guy right here, Artesian Pure, spring and summer. Yeah. So the next one off the shelf is another fragrance from John Barbados. This is one that I didn't really get a bunch of information about before I added to my collection. I actually purchased it online because it was just a really good deal. And because of the other instances with John Barbados, where I really did like the scent and like the smell, I decided to give this one a shot. It's this guy right here, Nick Jonas, the blue bottle. Now, the blue bottle should give this away. The blue bottle should absolutely tell you what we're dealing with here. We're talking about another blue fragrance. This is a mass appealing, really nice fragrance. Probably the easiest to wear I have ever put my nose to from John Barbados. Mass appealing blue fragrance, nice, clean, fresh. Literally, if you take all of the magical blue fragrances, Bleu de Chanel, Sauvage, Y, EDP, I don't want to leave any of them out, but there's so many of them. This guy here just sits on the shelf with each and every one of those because it is right in that same wheelhouse. Super fresh, mass appealing, clean, not just soapy clean, but like a nice fresh clean between either citruses, some sort of chemicals or whatever to give that clean effect, that soap feel in a sense. But it's just a really nice fragrance. Again, this one here I just found on fragrancenet.com when I went to go buy it. It was on a really good deal. I couldn't pass it up. I had never got my nose on it. I randomly heard things about Nick Jonas. I didn't know if it was this one or the red one, which I believe is called Crimson. That one I've heard a lot of great things about too, so I will be buying that fragrance. If you have tested that, if you're watching this video right now, comment down below. Let me know how Crimson is. Should I definitely add it to my collection, or should I leave it completely out of my collection? As far as blue goes, easiest mass appealing fragrance I've ever put to my nose from the House of John Barbados. The last fragrance off the shelf today is going to be another one from the House of John Barbados. This one here, Ross over at TLTG Reviews. If you haven't checked him out or you subscribe to his channel, I'll put a link down below. Make sure you guys go check him out there. He's phenomenal, great content. A lot of fun to watch on YouTube. Really kind of helped me get inspired to do what I'm doing right now with this. So hey Ross, shout out to you, bud. Appreciate all you do. Again, keep up the great work, bud. This one here, John Barbados Vintage. Now, he did a review on it, talked about it, and it sparked my interest a little bit, especially where, like I said in the last fragrance, I started to, really start to like the House of John Barbados a little bit more, especially after receiving Nick Jonas. When I got that blue Nick Jonas in, I said, okay, look, these fragrances are not all, one or the other, far away from each other, like Dark Rebel and Artesian Pure. The blue fragrance, the one for Nick Jonas, really made me say I need to give this house a little bit of a better chance, and I'm glad that I did. When I saw the review from TLTG Reviews regarding John Barbados and Vintage, I had to give it a chance because it sounded like a fragrance that I personally would really enjoy, and I wasn't wrong, so I picked it up. I actually picked up 2 bottles because I found them at a pretty good price. Made sure I got them added to my collection very quickly. The spray is pretty cool. Silver sprayer, nice brown bottle. This leather imprint, I don't know if that'll focus right for you, but really cool wrapper on the bottle. The scent itself is just class. It's got a little tiny bit of spice to it, but it's got almost like a what is the word I'm thinking of there, like a resinous freshness to it. So it's, to me, it's when someone says like a masculine scent, It's not like Dark Rebel as in like a deep dark, really tough and rough. This is a nice scent that, again, anyone could wear. Me personally, I see this as a nice, semi-spicy, fresh, resinous scent that has a lot of class to it. So for me, this is possibly my favorite from the house yet. Nick Jonas is definitely probably the most mass appealing one I've ever smelled from the house. The blue one, and I've heard the red one or the crimson one is even better. So again, I'll get those comments down there. Let me know about that, because I want to buy that, and I'm right on the fence. So if you guys push me down there, I'll end up picking it up. This one here, though, John Barbados Vintage, is one I'll probably always have in my collection. Out of all of these, the one I'll have in my collection the most, because there's just something about this fragrance that it absolutely is an easy reach for me. I could walk out the door, feel like I'm still wearing something that's classy, something that's fresh, something that's going to make me feel good about what I have on, and it's still going to pique my interest as a frag head, or as a member of FragCom, where we want something that's a little bit different, doesn't have to be like everyone else, and still smells really nice. And this one here really is mass appealing. So that's going to wrap up week 2 of Off the Shelf. I hope you really enjoyed the content today. I know I had a lot of fun thinking about and remembering why I added certain fragrances to my collection, especially these 4 fragrances, where they came into play, and what it was that sparked the idea that I wanted to buy them, or at least get my nose on them. Do me a favor, add some comments down below. Let me know if you've tried any of these fragrances, if you've tried other ones from the House of John Barbados, if there's anything that you personally recommend or say stay far away from for whatever reason. I'd love to hear about it. Crimson I mentioned a few times in there. I believe it's red or crimson. Nick Jonas from Barbados. I really want to know how that one is. I've heard good things within the YouTube community, different fragrance groups. A lot of people will comment that that's a really nice fragrance. But let me know how you feel down below if you had a chance to get your nose on that one, or any of these, or anything from the House of John Barbados. Now I'm going to add another piece in here today. Yesterday I had a really cool comment from a good kid that works with me when I do DJ events, things like that. This kid Tucker, super nice, very nice dude. Hey, bud, great job last night as always. Thanks for your help. He made a comment that he had worn Creed Aventus. Most random comment. We're going to throw a different fragrance in the mix here. And we were talking about how it can bring up different memories at times and bring back different positive things. Could actually bring back some negative things depending on what the fragrance was and when you smelt it. Well, I had given him a bottle of Creed Aventus before, decant or something like that. Sometimes I hook him up with different things because I really appreciate his help. And he always asks me, oh, what are you wearing? And Creed Aventus is definitely one for him that he really, really enjoys. So part of our conversation yesterday was really cool that he had said he remembered one day he had gone home after putting this fragrance on, and he gave his mom a hug. And what's really cool is his mom said, "Whoa, what is that? That smell?" And it reminded her of somebody. Now, someone in the past, she gave him much more detail, not my story, so I'm not going to share that portion. But it brought back an instant flashback to her of a certain person who could remember the time, date, location roughly, what they were wearing, roughly who else was around them, like this. Now, we always talk about how fragrance is one of the most powerful things out there, and it really is. And it was kind of cool because the end of that story was when he had a chance to explain to her what the fragrance was and that he really enjoyed it as well. She had said, well, I remember smelling that, and I remember this person wearing it because of how good it really smelled. And she said, I would have never thought of that person, that date, and that time if it weren't for you wearing this fragrance today. So do me a favor, make some amazing scent memories. People you care about, people you know out there. If there's a fragrance that someone you love very much wears, and every time you walk in, you smell it, it reminds them of you, go get some of it. Pick up a bottle. Do something like that. Because you never know when you're not going to be able to get that scent back in your life or back in your nose. You never know it's going to be discontinued. And if you're able to figure out a fragrance that really reminds you of somebody special, whether it's a family member, a friend, a certain place, something that's going to make an amazing scent story for you, then why not go out there and add that to your collection too? To me, that would be probably one of the best ones you'll ever have. Holiday season right here, I'm thinking like that. So I appreciate each and every one of you stopping by. I truly, truly, truly appreciate you. Tucker, thanks for sharing that story with me, bud. I really appreciate that as well. Thank you for joining me for Off the Shelf Week 2. I really appreciate you guys coming by today. If you get a chance, do me a huge favor. If you haven't done so already, click that subscribe button down below. Like, comment, and or share this video. I've said it before, I'll say it again. Comments are huge. I really, really, really appreciate the comments. I love interacting with each and every one of you, so throw a comment down there. Like the video. Let me know that you're watching, because honestly, the more I know you're enjoying it, it gets me excited to make the next video. Until the next time, you know what? If you're making the world a better place, just one spray at a time, then to me, you're making sense. Until next time.